Hello, this is Telemir and welcome to another repair video. We are looking at this Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I believe that's what it is. And it's got a really weird issue. It keeps going and switching itself over to saying SOS, indicating that it is losing connectivity to the cellular network service. I'm going to pop this open and see what's going on, but first we're going to do a little bit of tests and see what it is doing, just to repeat what the customer is complaining about. Now there's some very simple tests I can do first. I got a whole pile of different SIM cards that I can use here. I'm going to just choose one, and I want to see whether or not it at least pulls up the bars. Pop that little guy out. Oh, there's one in it still. It's a Virgin Mobile one. Now my initial gut reaction was that maybe there was a problem with the customer's SIM card, but he's tried more than one, so that may mean nothing. And of course, it's out of juice. All right, let's charge it up. Once it's got some juice in it, then we can do some more testing. Apologize for the noise upstairs. It is loud right now. Looks good so far. It wants me to restart the phone. I'll do that. I seem to have worked on this phone before because it already has the Wi-Fi on it. Interesting. Just to disconnect that briefly, I want to see what that signal is doing. It is showing as present. Obviously, it's going to say emergency calls only at the moment. That's expected. It is a little bit low down here in the basement for the signal strength, just because, well, it's in the basement. But it's bouncing around exactly where I'd expect it. I was just concerned that maybe there might be no bars at all. So I'm going to pop this back out. Maybe I'm going to try my own SIM card in there and just see what it does. All right then, still saying emergency calls only. There are bars. If I try to use the voicemail, it says call ended and not registered on network. I don't live in Ottawa, by the way. It's picking up a weird signal for some reason. I live quite far away from there, actually. It's very strange. I'm not getting anything at all right now. No bars at all. And it says no service. Maybe there is straight up just an issue with the antenna. I'll take a look at that, pop off the back, see what's going on. Oh, we got some signal. Just emergency calls only, though. But we do have signal, just barely. It's not going to work. It's going to say not registered on network. Yep, just as it did. Okay. That's all we can do at this point. All I can do is take the SIM tray out and take the phone apart and see if there's an issue with the antenna. That's the only thing at this point in time that I can think of that might cause this. The only other thing that I could think of that would cause this is if the phone went blacklisted. Let's get this back heated up. We're going to get this off. Phone is still on. Let's turn it off just in case. Here. I'm going to put this back in place. I don't have a new adhesive for this. So if the adhesive is in good condition, I'll just use what's already present. But if it was in very bad condition, not salvageable at all, then I would simply make a new one. It's just really hard to make a new adhesive for these. Okay, there we go. Got that open. Good clean pull. Now then, let's see what's going on here. What we're looking for is disconnected cables. This right here is your wireless charging cable. I'm going to take some screws out, get these panels off. Well, I decided to take out the part that directly relates to the SIM card tray itself, which is in fact the charge board, the little circuit that has the USB-C port. I'm going to take a look around. We're just going to see if there's some sort of issue there. Now, I was playing around with the phone for a while, and I kept disconnecting. It's this little guy right here. Let me see if I can show it. If you're going along here, this is the front of the phone. On this side here, there's the USB port going along here. And right here is, as far as I know, this is the cable. Let me just get that a little bit better focused. This right here is the cable that goes directly to the main board from this daughter board. So I'm just going to take a poke around this. Let's see if there's any issues. Do I see damage? You see this right here? It's cracked. The SIM tray, not the SIM tray, The antenna cable itself is cracked. That is why it keeps disconnecting. It's as simple as that. How about that? So, I can do this in two different ways. I can either replace this little guy, or I can replace the whole board. I don't know which I want to do. I've never replaced one of these ports before. What is it called? It's called an FPC connector, I think. I think that's what it's called. Can I just solder it back in place? This isn't a part that should be moving around. Like that right there, I think that's solder. Could I push it in like this, then put solder in place? I'm going to try. If nothing else, we can give it a go. Just see. I have a feeling it would be better, though, to just straight up replace it. But I'm curious to see whether or not I can just solder it back together. I have my soldering iron set to 400 degrees Celsius. I'm going to put a tiny, tiny little dribble of flux on that section right there. The tiniest amount. I mean, that looks like a lot, but it's almost nothing. Let's just see. Let's just see if I can push this back together. Yeah, that's not working. I am definitely going to attempt to replace the FPC connector itself and just see whether or not that is a go. So I'm going to look up the part and see what's going on with that. And hopefully you're going to see something interesting in this video. Okay, so I've got it all set up here, ready. I've got the part right here, tiny little guy. Super tiny. Woo. Now, because of the size of this board, it is a tiny board. It's only about 3/4 of an inch wide by maybe 1.5 inches in length. It is tiny, and it's not particularly thick either. I think it's only maybe like 1 or 2 layers thick. So we got to be careful. I'm not going to put this up much more than 300. I think I'm going to try 300. Maybe 350. I'm going to try starting with 350 at, I think, 60% airflow. And it would be helpful to put a little bit of flux on here. I think there's some flux that's still there regardless, but I would like to place a little bit of flux on this connector just to help it along if at all possible. Let's see how this goes. I sure hope this board doesn't pop. I do have another board here because I've never done an FPC connector replacement before, so I don't know how well this is going to work out. I should heat up the whole board, come to think of it. The whole board should be heated up first. Maybe I put this at a lower airspeed. I'm just worried that I'm going to blow a component off the board. Okay. Oh, I just saw smoke. A little bit of vapor. I'm forgetting to turn my vent on. Okay, let's try this again. I'm just giving it a little poke every once in a while. I'm trying to see whether or not I'm getting anywhere. I'm not even sure if 350 is too much. There we go. It's off. Okay, I'm going to put my heat gun down. Let's get the new one in. It seems that 350 Celsius at about 50% airspeed is the answer. Now I do need to go and put some new clean solder on this. Let's see how this goes. Maybe I should put some... I'm going to put some leaded solder on there first. Okay, let's see how that goes. I'm worried that I'm going to scrape some pads off. These things are tiny. They're so tiny. Give that a clean. Just wiping up the excess flux with a dry cotton swab. And I'm going to go over it with some alcohol. Let's put some clean solder on this now. Need more flux. So I've got some solder that is 6337, which is supposed to be 63% tin and 37% lead. And every single time I try using it, it never works for me, ever. It always ends up clumping. It's very, very annoying. I always end up going back to the 60-40, which is 60% tin, 40% lead, every time. It's so frustrating. So I just cleaned that mess off. I was really hoping to use that instead, just because it's supposed to be, at least what I've been told, it's supposed to be better for circuits that you're going to get a lot of movement in. Now this isn't going to get an incredible amount of movement, but it isn't a phone, so you think, you know, okay, well, surely there's going to be a little bit of movement. So that's why I used that. Still didn't work for me. So I'm putting here just some standard leaded solder. It's a bit much, but we can clean that up. A little bit more flux. Okay, I think that's about as good as I can do. And I give this another cleaning. And we're going to put on some more flux. And we can put that port, that new FPC connector, back on. So you might be wondering why exactly I'm doing this and not just replacing the whole board. Now there's a few reasons. Part of it is training. I want to know how to do this properly. And a second is that quite often the boards that you get, they're never as good as the original ones. Even when they say they're premium, I've been told that even those ones are not as good as the original ones that come with the phone. And so it's better to try your best. Try your best to get the original, to use the original board, and simply replace the parts that are already currently there, you know? Now with this, I'm going to be putting a little bit of flux onto the area. That's actually way too much, even though it's just barely a dribble. I'm just going to smear this around. I'm going to get rid of the excess. I'm just going to dab that in. And that should, in theory, be enough. Now to get into this. Okay, let's get this positioned. I think that's perfect right there. Very, very darn well close to being perfect. Time to apply some heat. Wait for the gun to get up to temperature first, the heat gun to get up to temperature. It's up. And I think I'm going to have to turn the airspeed down. I'm going to put it down to 40. I'm just worried that I'm going to end up blowing the connector off the board. Moving the heat around the entire board some, just to get the entire board heated up. Then we can focus in. Once you see the solder balls there start to go shiny, we know that we are in the right place. Okay, I think we're there. I was expecting to see the connector jump into place some, you know? I don't think I'm seeing that. Am I seeing that? I don't know. I think it is. I can't check any of the pins without, like, maybe just putting it sideways. I can't remember what it looks like from the side. From the one side. Where are you, connector? Right there. To me, they don't look connected. None of them look connected to me, except maybe one. But the other side. That side is definitely not connected. Maybe I should have attempted to tin the port, the FPC connector first. I'm going to try that. Let's take it back off, and we'll give it another go. It's just such a small port, you'd never expect that it would actually need to be tinned. I was just expecting this to work, you know? It's going to be so hard to... It's going to be incredibly hard to tin this little guy. I could just try pushing down on it, I guess. Maybe add a little bit of extra flux. Try again. Let's see if that worked. I just wanted to see whether or not maybe just putting the extra flux there might help it along. That really doesn't look like it's connected. None of them look connected. Okay, fine. I'm going to take it off, and we're going to have to take a look on the underneath. I was really not expecting it to be this difficult at all. Okay. Flip it over. What do I see on the back? It's kind of stuck to my tweezers, which helps. Yeah, there's nothing. Nothing held to that. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, that's annoying. I don't know what to do. Do Do I try tinning those pads? I'm going to have to switch out my tip. I'm going to try a different tip. It's the only thing I can think of. I'm going to have to turn my temperature down because it's way too hot right now. I'm going to try 380. I'm inclined to put a little bit of flux on this. Okay. Let's give that a go. I'm going to try working from the one side first. See if I can dab at each individual pin. Okay, gotten most of that side. Let's flip it around. There's got to be an easier way to do this. This is the best I can do right now. Before I go ahead with this, I think I'm gonna try putting a little bit more, see if there's a little bit more solder that's needed here. I missed the tabs in the center. I think there's enough though in the center that it should be okay. I don't think I could get to those without causing some serious problems. So the only thing I can think of doing is trying squeezing it down some. In the meantime, it's time for another go at this. So to prevent myself from shaking, what I'm doing is I'm holding the tweezers with my hand, my right hand currently, and it's resting on the bench, and I'm using my left hand as well, this finger, to hold the end of the tip further steady in order to make for some very stable hands. I think it's right about here. I think it's right there. Please work. I see it. It is looking like it is melted. No. Okay, well maybe it's good. Maybe it's good. I might be making a mess of this. The pins look like they are aligned though. I wonder if I could touch it up if I'm wrong. I really can't tell. To me it doesn't look like it's soldered. But I might be wrong. I think the only option now at this point is to test. It's the only thing I can think of doing. Checking the other side. Can only hope. Let's give it a wash. Give it a good scrub. Whole board. I have a toothbrush. I'm going to give it a good scrub. Oh, that's fill. I'm trying to get fill out. That's funny. Okay. It looks clean. So I'm not going to fully install this. We're just going to pop it in and we're going to see if it works. So we also want to check to see whether or not it still charges, that I didn't mess up the USB-C charge connector. Connecting those boards. And the antenna. Well, it's not exactly an antenna. It connects the SIM tray. Now, ironically, I have here my father's SIM card. I think it is. And I can use this for testing. I was working on his phone, and the part that I got for it, for an A5, 2016 A5, that was the, SMA520W model. And the part that I got from where I bought it from ended up defective. And then I got a replacement again, and the replacement was also defective. And it was worse. All right, that's in place. Let's reconnect the battery, and let's see whether or not we've got a signal. While it's turning on, I would like to also test the connector to make sure that it's still functional. Yep, that looks good. If I plug it in, it should show a good charge. It should be pulling a good solid amperage. 1.5, almost 1.6 amps charging, good. But let's go into here and let's see whether or not the LTE shows up. No change, absolutely no change. We have no signal even at the moment. So what I'm gonna do, oh, it's showing something right now. Yep, okay, so I'm gonna unplug this and I'm gonna take a look at those pins again. I don't think they're connected. Well, as you could have seen in that time lapse, I did my best for the reflow. All I can hope is that that was good enough. Not exactly a reflow, but touching up the pins individually. Battery's reconnected. Let's turn it on and see what we got going here. I'm only 90% sure that this doesn't have anything to do with the signal, but I have tested this without this before, earlier, and I did get something when I was playing around with this little connector before. So I'm expecting something, even if the full antenna is not fully connected. Kicks and giggles, I'm going to reconnect it. I do not expect it to make any difference. Oh well, how about that? Now, I don't know if that was related to this connecting or not. Let's just disconnect it again. I should stop playing around. Okay, it's showing his LTE there. I'm going to go in and call the voicemail and just see what happens. Yeah, it's not working. But that is a big difference there. I went over those pins, and now we're seeing some sort of thing coming from LTE. It's jumping up and down a little bit. I really don't know if this is needed or not. I don't think it is. I'll connect it in anyways. We'll see if this proves me wrong or not, but yeah, signal just dropped off. My connection at the bottom may not be solid still. I am going to try the other board just to rule it out. Now, before I had started playing around with all this, maybe it would have been a wise choice for me to have tested this with a working board, with one that I know works, you know? Because what if the issue had more to do with more than just the FPC connector? What if there's another issue? Of course, in this occasion, what I'm really wondering about is whether or not I soldered that connector in properly. The only thing I can think of is, if this works, I may need to just try again in soldering those pins down, maybe try doing a reflow, an actual reflow. I could even compare this board to this one, just to see what the connector looks like. It's also a possibility maybe there's something wrong with this. Never thought about that. I think it's fine though. Okay, we see LTE plus, calling voicemail.
Welcome to Fido's message service.
Worked immediately. Worked immediately. So that's telling me that either I have still not connected that FPC connector in properly, or there's another problem beyond just what I've got going here. This right here, as you can see, those stickers indicate that that is the one that is from my parts provider, that's the full board. So let's take a look at the FPC connector for it. It's right this little guy right here. And I'm going to zoom in farther, a lot farther. I want to zoom in as much as I possibly can. Where are you? Right here. There it is. Those look fabulous. Very good connections there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take a look at this side, but I'll try. Where are you? It's right here. Right there. Okay. I don't know if I can zoom in enough. Alright. Very solid looking. How about mine? Well, it's a melted mess. Can't tell what's what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my, my heat gun again, put it up to 350, reflow it, and hope that it actually does the trick. I'm going to put a little bit of flux on both sides, just like that. It's the tiniest of dabs. I think I just saw it jiggle back into place. Maybe. We finally actually did it. Alright, we've got everything in place again. I've done the reflow. I budged the little connector around a little bit. It seemed to have done a reflow. It kind of snapped back into its proper place. This doesn't look reassuring though, because it's still... I'm not seeing anything. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's the center pins aren't connected. So I've pulled the connector off again. I was thinking that maybe there wasn't any solder on the central connectors. but it sure does look nice and shiny. It's not coppery. I'm pretty sure that all the pins were, I'm pretty sure they were all connected. I think they were all connected. They sure look it. I'm going to try putting a little bit more solder on those pads again, because I do see one that looks a little dry. Where was it? That one seems to be a little low. This one seems to be completely flat. So I just want to go over them again one more time. I really want to take a look at this one again and see what I'm supposed to be seeing. Those very nice large amounts of solder on each one of those pins. It's beautiful. Okay. All I can do is try again. It's literally all I can do. Let's get that material that's off of there. That's from probably the cotton swab. I don't see anything else of concern here. That flux is starting to really harden up. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up. We're gonna go and toss on. I'm gonna toss on some more solder. See if we can get some more solder to stick to this. The only thing that I could think of that is causing this is a lack of solder on the board. More flux. Let's give it another go. I'm starting to rub away the ground plane in the center there. That's concerning. I'm going to heat this up now. I got to get that all to just kind of conform. And we're going to try soldering this back in again. It's starting to look super ugly. Let's try it again. The flux is not like bad right now, so I'm thinking I'm just going to try using the existing flux. I put a little dribble of alcohol on the tip of my tweezers. That can help prevent the flux from sticking to the tweezers. I think that's bang on, right there. Let's try this. Okay, I think that's got it. Finally, let's clean it up. Let's see how we've done. This is getting annoying. But we're learning, and that was my intent in the first place. I doubt this is going to make any difference at all, but I'm going to take a look at the sides as well, see what they look like. It just doesn't look correct, you know? It looks like the pads aren't connected. That's like how it looks to me. That the pads are not connected. The only thing I can think of trying here is simply to like try doing what I did last time, because it doesn't look connected. It seriously does not look connected to the board. I'm going to toss on a bunch of flux again, get some leaded solder on my tip. I'm going to use my bigger tip, more heat transfer quicker. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm starting to get desperate. Well, looks a little better, I guess. There's a pin right here I'm pretty sure that I need to get to as well. Right here. Okay. Flip it to the other side. Let's see how it looks. I'm going to have to raise up my microscope. Get some new solder on that tip as well. Let's try it again. For the other side. A little shakier on this side, just because the board's in the air. Oh no, I just put a whole bunch of solder on that. The connector itself. I'm doing this. Let me see if I can just brush some off on that side. I think I've just grounded it. Did I just ground it to itself? I can't tell. The only way I'm going to be able to tell is if I get rid of that flux that's currently on the board and just give it another go. I think it's just melted plastic. Yeah, it's just melted plastic. That's fine. Okay. Mildly melted plastic. The other side? How's the other side look? I don't know. Looks okay, I guess. Better than last time. lower down the microscope. We're gonna have one more peek at this. I gotta give this another clean. There's still some flux in this. I don't know, guys. Let's just try it. Let's just try it. Let's just try it. I mean, what else can I say? I've done my best. I've done as good as I possibly can. There must be a better way to do this, but this is where I'm at. Okay, I've got the phone on. It's connected up. I've got everything connected. You can see I don't have this one in. I have the other one connected. And so far, it is solid. It is, well, yeah, go away. There we go. It is showing LTE, and it's showing it stable. So I think that third time was the trick. It really is doing it now, and it's staying. So let's try making a call.
Fido's message service.
There it is. It's actually working. It's finally working. Let's try that again. It's doing it immediately.
Now's the time to find out about
Starts.
your personal message center.
It's starting up immediately. Finally. We got it, guys. We got it. It was simply the matter of getting those pins underneath connected. A little bit more solder, and they still weren't connected properly. So all I got left to do is just get this plate in. We've got those snapped in nice and comfortably. This is down. I'm going to get those screws in place, and then we will be finally able to call this job complete.